What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 15, the finale. And what a finale it was. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Better than the whole damn season. It's really sucky that the whole season is garbage and then the finale is so good. It's like y'all could have been giving us this type of drama throughout the whole season. But let's get into it. So Dolores and Paul are hosting an Irish prohibition party. Everybody has to show up dressed like the way they did back in the prohibition era. So, which is, I guess, like around the 1920s or so. Everybody showed up looking absolutely marvelous. The women were beautiful. All the men were so handsome. So as far as the outfits, they knocked it out of the park. So it starts off with Danielle, Rachel, and Melissa having a conversation. So Rachel and Melissa are telling Danielle that when they were in Ireland, Danielle really didn't seem herself and she seemed like she was kind of stressed out about something and she was crying all the time. And Danielle says that yes, a lot of it had to do with her brother, but she had also some other things going on that she didn't really want to talk about at that moment. So at some point, Danielle has a conversation with Jennifer, and she's telling Jennifer that she's thinking about telling Melissa about the information that was given to her by Jennifer regarding Margaret telling Laura that someone told Margaret they saw Melissa kissing some man in the backseat of a car. Now, Danielle and Jennifer and Teresa feel like this information is putting Margaret in a really bad light because we all know that Jennifer and Teresa cannot stand Margaret because of the fact that Margaret exposing or painting their men in a really bad light. Margaret exposing Pool House Bill's affair, and Margaret constantly bringing up all of the weird information that she found about Louis on the internet. So they want to take Margaret down, and they think that this is the best way to do it. And the fact that they're going to also be exposing Melissa cheating on Joe, that's just collateral damage. They claim that that's not their real target. Their real target is Margaret. So Danielle tells Jennifer that she's thinking about telling Melissa this information. And I'm thinking to myself, I guess because they want Melissa to turn against Margaret, for Melissa to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Margaret is saying these things about me to people. So Jennifer pretends like she's so conflicted, like, should Danielle tell or should Danielle not tell? When we all know that this was the purpose, this was the plan for the night. Her and Danielle and Teresa and maybe even Louis, they all got together and they all came up with this idea that they were going to expose Margaret and Melissa this night at this event. It was all pre-planned. So Jennifer misses with the whole, girl, I don't know if you should tell her or not, misses with all of that. So, of course, Danielle is being used by Teresa and Jennifer. I'm not sure exactly if Danielle is okay with that. Like, hey, I'm being used to expose these people, or is she okay with this, or does she not know that she's being used? Because if she doesn't know that she's being used by Teresa and Jennifer, then she's an idiot. Because if she would have seen any of the seasons of this show, she would have known this is what Teresa does. She uses people to try to take down her sister-in-law because she can't stand her sister-in-law. I believe that she's extremely jealous of Melissa. I think that she's envious of Melissa. And maybe that's why Melissa called the damn store envy. I don't know. But I feel like for whatever reason, Teresa wants to take Melissa down. And she has been using various miscellaneous characters to do this for her, to do the dirty work for her. She's going to send these people out there to expose some salacious information about Melissa. And then she's going to sit back and be like, I had no idea. I didn't know that they were going to say that. Okay, fine. That's her MO. And Danielle, if you don't realize that, I really worry about your mental health. So she'll do anything. It seems like Danielle will do anything to secure her spot on this show. So Danielle pulls Melissa to the side and tells Melissa that this is the information that I have gotten. Someone told me that Margaret told her best friend, her ex-best friend Laura, that someone told her they saw you kissing some man in the backseat of a car. And I'm thinking to myself, if someone had really come to Margaret with this information that they saw Melissa cheating on Joe Gorga, wouldn't Margaret have brought this up to Melissa at some point? Like, does that just escape them? That it doesn't make any sense that that Margaret would get a hold of this information, something so heavy as this, and she wouldn't go tell Melissa? Girl, this is what I heard. Someone came and told me that you were doing ABCD. What is T, girl? Margaret just didn't do any. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so the plot twist is that Melissa already knew. So she tells Danielle, girl, I've known about this for like 6 months. I never acted on it. I never said anything about it because I didn't want any kind of disruption leading up to Teresa's wedding. But I've known about this. And guess who told me? Joe Gorga, my husband. He's the one that told me. So Melissa goes on to explain that Teresa had given this information to Joe behind her back. They had called Joe, Teresa and Louie and Teresa, however you want to say it. They had called Joe, told him to come over, and he went over to go see them. And they told him that, oh, we got information that Melissa's cheating on you and that she was seen in the backseat of a car kissing some guy. And what I don't understand is, if Teresa knew that her brother knew, then wouldn't it make common sense? Wouldn't it be common sense that her brother would tell his wife also as well? And if Teresa knew that Melissa knew this information, didn't Teresa tell Jennifer, oh, girl, Melissa already knows this because we told Joe, and I'm pretty sure Joe went back and told his wife everything that we told him. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Melissa knows this. So what is the point of bringing this information back to Melissa? Because I'm thinking they would have known that she already knew. So why would Jennifer tell Danielle this information as if Melissa has no clue? And so Danielle feels like she's really doing some type of public service for telling Melissa, oh, yeah, Margaret is going around telling people that you cheated on your husband. I guess maybe the situation is that they feel like maybe Melissa doesn't know that it was Margaret that was spreading this information. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe there's like, okay, maybe Melissa knows that, you know, this information is out there, but she doesn't know that it was Margaret that told everybody. Maybe that's maybe that's why they were trying to say they were exposing Margaret. Maybe that's what it was. Because it's so convoluted. They don't really want to give the full story because this information was given to us as if, you know, they got it directly from Laura. You know, Laura said, hey, Margaret's going around telling people, you know, ABCD about Melissa. And we never knew that Joe knew already. That was like a big part that was missing from all of this because Teresa told her brother about all of this information. I don't know. So maybe they were trying to expose Margaret because they thought that Melissa didn't know that it was Margaret that was perpetuating this rumor. I have no idea. So Melissa says that Teresa has a history of using people to ruin her reputation. Then they show us the montage of all the different people that Teresa had used to try to expose Melissa for being unfaithful, expose Melissa for being a stripper, etc. So now Danielle is sitting there feeling stupid because she fell for the okie doke. She got used and she's looking foolish because Melissa already knew this information. And Melissa doesn't even believe that Margaret had anything to do with it. So what is the point of all of this? Melissa doesn't even believe that Margaret was involved in any of this. So Danielle now, because it's like, you know, she's feeling clownish, the fact that Melissa already knew this information. So now she turns it on Margaret. And so she's like, well, why doesn't Margaret have to be held accountable for spreading these rumors and for trying to expose you and blah, blah, blah? How come Margaret doesn't get in trouble for any of this? Well, because Melissa doesn't believe that Margaret has said anything about it. So then Margaret comes over because she keeps hearing her name. And Margaret says, why do you keep talking about someone that you don't even know? Referring to Laura. And she's confronting Danielle. Why do you keep mentioning someone that you don't even know? Danielle says, well, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, we're going to shoot the messenger because you're serving old tea. You're giving us information where you're giving Melissa information that she already knew. And you have no concrete proof that Margaret said anything to Laura. Because some of these women on this show are stupid as hell, but some of them are pretty clever. And I would think that if Margaret was telling Laura information about Melissa, that it wasn't through a text or email. So how would you prove that Margaret even told Laura this information? For this information to really work and to really stick and to expose Margaret for being disloyal to Melissa, you're going to have proof. So it turns into a huge mess. Everybody gets involved. Everybody's arguing against everybody else. Melissa confronts Teresa for telling Joe about this baseless information. So she's following, Melissa's following Teresa around saying, you were the one that told my husband all of these rumors about me. And Teresa's denying it. She says it wasn't her, it was Louis. And so as Melissa's following her around, Teresa's like, look at you. And Melissa goes, well, look at you. And so Teresa's just like, wow. Like, you're so pathetic. Wow. No, sweetheart, the pathetic one is you. Because you are so hell-bent on bringing down your sister-in-law. You don't care who you take down with her. You don't care that your brother is involved. You don't care that your niece and nephews are involved. You don't care that, you have tried this so many times in the past, and Joe Gorga is still with Melissa. He has yet to leave or divorce Melissa. And I've always felt like Teresa has not only been jealous of Melissa, but she has been jealous of the fact that Melissa and Joe have a much stronger marriage than what she ever had with Joe Giudice. I think it all boils down to that. She had, now, we like Joe Giudice, I guess, but Joe Giudice was not the best husband or to Teresa. He was not the best husband. He cheated on her. He put her in prison. He brought financial ruin on his own family. He was not a good husband to her. And I feel like Teresa always felt like she wanted a husband like her brother, like a real provider, a real protector. Because I've never heard of rumors of Joe Gorga messing around on Melissa. Whether he is or he isn't, I don't know. I'm not saying that he never has. I'm not putting it past him that he would cheat on Melissa. But I've never heard substantiated rumors or information of Joe Gorga cheating on Melissa. But there's always been these, not even just rumors. The man exposed himself in the damn vineyard when they all went to Italy, when he was talking to some woman on the phone and called his wife that horrible name while he was talking to another female on the phone. So Joe Giudice exposed himself for being an adulterer. Even Teresa herself had told Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer, is she a Manzo too? I'm not even sure. The other Jennifer that used to be on the show but is not there no more, who was married to Caroline's brother, I think. She even had brought up how Teresa had come to her, telling her, confiding in her, that her husband was being caught. She caught her husband. Teresa herself caught her husband cheating on her when she walked in on Joe Giudice, and he was with his secretary or something in his office, and they were getting it on. But she claims that what ruined her marriage was her brother, not her husband's infidelity, not the fact that her husband completely ruined their finances and put both her and him in jail. That had nothing to do with the demise of her marriage. It was all because of the fact that Joe Giudice never got along with Joe Gorga, and that was the demise of their marriage. So Teresa says that she had nothing to do with this information getting to Joe Gorga. She says it was Louis that had contacted Joe, told him to come over, and it was Louis that gave him the information that Melissa was cheating on him. She said that she had nothing to do with it. She says that she even had told Jennifer and Danielle not to say anything on the show. Yeah, right, Teresa. Yeah, right. So Jennifer and Margaret, they get into it. Joe and Louis, they get into it. Danielle says, well, she's glad that she was the one that ended up exposing Margaret. And that was basically the end of it all. Now, one thing that I do want to mention, when when Jennifer and Margaret got into it, because Jennifer was trying to say that Margaret's MO is about exposing people's husbands, like the way she exposed Pool House Bill's infidelity, his affair, the way that she was trying to expose Louis. Her whole thing, her whole mission in life is to take down people's husbands. And Margaret was trying to defend herself. And then Jennifer was like, you did this. You ruined my family. You ruined my children. You ruined my children. Now my daughter wants to be a therapist because of you. And she says it like it's a bad thing that Olivia wants to be a therapist. She says that as if Olivia told her that she wants to grow up and be, a lady of the night. And my daughter wants to be a streetwalker because of you. That's how she says it. And it's like, Jennifer, it's a good thing that Olivia wants to be a therapist. It's okay. She took a tragic situation and wants to make something positive out of it by helping other people in their relationships. And you know what it takes to be a therapist? A lot of education and licenses and multiple degrees and being certified. It's a good thing to be a therapist, Jennifer. I don't know why you keep throwing it around like it's a bad thing. So your husband got exposed and Margaret exposed his affair. It was devastating to your children. But little Olivia is trying to make the best of it. Now she has a goal. She has a dream. She has an ambition now. Now she's motivated to really do something with herself. I mean, come on, Jennifer. Anyways, so at the end, we find out that Rachel got to adopt Jaden. Congratulations to them. Joe Gorga tells us at the end that when he was given this information that his wife was supposedly cheating on him, Gia had contacted him and told him that he can do a whole lot better than Melissa. And I thought that was a little bit disrespectful as the niece to be telling her uncle, to be all involved in his, relationship with his wife. Who the hell Joe wants to be with is his business, just like who the hell Teresa wants to be with is her business. Teresa says that this whole situation with Melissa and her being caught kissing some dude, all of this had nothing to do with her, but she's getting blamed for it. Melissa's blaming her for it, even though she had nothing to do with it. Well, Teresa, you have said so many times on this show that yes, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck, and the neck controls the head. So you are allowing your fiance, Louis, to bring this information to your brother so that your brother can divorce his wife, so that your brother can be divorced from his wife and his children can go through a divorce. This is what you wanted. So why didn't you control Louis? If you feel like whatever was going on was so bad that you didn't even want to be involved with it, because I'm assuming that's why you claim you were not involved, because you didn't like it. You didn't like how messy it was. So you kind of removed yourself from the situation. Well, you as the neck controlling the head, why didn't you tell Louis, don't do this? Because you wanted him to do it. If you want us to believe that you had nothing to do with it. You were not an active participant in this. You're letting your fiance go through with this, which means that you approved it, you accepted it, you liked it, you wanted Louis to do this. But I truly believe that you had everything to do with it, because Louis doesn't have that same dynamic with Joe and Melissa like you do. So he's not as motivated as you are to try to bring them down. And this information was like a direct hit to Melissa, exposing Melissa for being unfaithful and being a loose woman, etc., etc. So, and we know that you hate your sister-in-law. So you want us to believe that you had nothing to do with this, even though it was exposing your sister-in-law, putting her in a bad light, even though you have a pattern and a history of trying to take Melissa Gorga down. You want us to believe that you had nothing to do with this, and you were just sitting on the sidelines watching Louis and Jennifer and Danielle concoct this whole plan to try to expose Melissa for being unfaithful and trying to expose Margaret for being a disloyal friend. Okay, girl. I don't know if those, maybe your little circle of friends, it's easy to fool them, but you can't fool the people, Teresa. You can't fool the people. And then there's a scene at the very end where Teresa and Jennifer and Dolores are at Teresa's house, and Louis comes down. And he tells the women, they're having a conversation, of course, about Melissa and Joe. And at some point, Louis mentions that he had hired a private investigator to investigate everybody in the group. And when he said that, there was a look on Jennifer's face. Jennifer was like, what? She didn't say anything, but her facial expression said it all. She kind of looked at him like, oh my God, did he just say that? Louis actually admitted that he hired a private investigator to investigate everybody in this group. Dolores wasn't fazed. I'm pretty sure Dolores, heard it, but she wasn't fazed. But Jennifer was. Yeah, your BFF's husband did that. He had all of y'all investigated. Because Louis says, I'm not going to get on a show or join a group of friends, however he phrased it, when I don't know who I'm dealing with. Or something to that effect. This is the guy that Teresa married. To me, Louis is just so, I don't know. Good luck, Teresa. Good luck on this marriage. Good luck. I wish you all the luck in the world, girl, because you're going to need it. Or maybe you and Louis, maybe y'all are just two peas in a pod. I have no idea, but I can't wait for the reunion. I'm going to need to find a way to woosah, to somehow relax myself, to de-stress, because watching these people induces so much anxiety in me, because they just infuriate me on how much they hate each other and how hell-bent they are in bringing each other down. And their family. Their family. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.